Yeah, I got one. She's on finance.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the July regular meeting of your Board of Trustees. To honor our nation's heroes and especially to honor the men and women in uniform who serve and protect our community, please rise and join us in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Clerk Fitzgerald, may we have the roll call, please?
Certainly, President Gallagher. Trustee Hansen? Here. Trustee Timmick?
Here.
Trustee Allen?
Here.
Trustee Rudolph?
Here.
Trustee Sifferman?
Here.
Trustee Tyrrell?
Here.
All present.
Thank you. Having read the agenda for this evening, does any trustee have additions or deletions? Hearing none, we'll move on to a favorite of our board, citizen recognition. I'll hand it right over to Fire Marshal Mike Kelly.
Thank you. Thank you, President Gallagher. I'm proud to be able to present this recognition to Sam Aletto. So Sam, if you could step up here. So I'd like to give you a little brief summary of why we're recognizing Sam tonight. So on April 20th of this year, Sam was at home with his two younger sisters and his mom had an accident at home, a fall. And so Sam was now the oldest one at home and had to get help for his mom. So Sam was very resourceful and tried a few different alternatives to try to get help for his mom. He went to the neighbor's house. The neighbor wasn't home. He went and tried to call his dad at work, but his dad couldn't take the phone call at work. So Sam didn't give up. He kept trying. He looked through his mom's phone and was able to find the number of one of the family friends, was able to contact her, and she came over, assessed the situation, and determined that they needed to call for the paramedics. So they called for the paramedics, and I talked to one of the paramedics after the incident, and he was very complimentary on how Sam was able to provide information and help to the paramedics when they arrived. So for Sam's actions and what he did that day, we'd like to recognize him. He was 9 years old at the time of the incident. Since then, he's turned 10. But for a 9-year-old to be faced with that situation and the challenges and to react like he did and never gave up to try to get help for his mom. So his persistence paid off. And many times adults are faced with those situations, and it can be very stressful for adults, and Sam performed very well. So we'd like to recognize Sam with a certificate of appreciation, and I'll read to you what it says. It says, the Western Springs Department of Fire and EMS Certificate of Appreciation is hereby awarded to Sam Aletto for his actions and assistance on an emergency medical incident on April 20th, 2018, awarded this day, July 23, 2018, and signed by our Fire Chief Patrick Kenny. So thanks, Sam. Since I know every 10-year-old boy really likes to have a certificate, we thought we'd also provide Sam with a t-shirt from our Fire and Rescue Association. So we hope you proudly wear the t-shirt. And we also have a patch that we'd like to present to you. So all of our firefighters, paramedics, EMTs, we wear our patch on our shoulder. And it signifies our association with the fire department here in Western Springs. And we're very proud of that association. And it also supports our mission, which is neighbors protecting neighbors. So we'd like to present you with our patch too, and hope that you keep that proudly in your possession as well. So Sam, congratulations. We're very proud. I'm sure your parents and family are very proud of you as well.
My father is, obviously.
Good job, Sam.
Sam, on behalf of the board, I'd just like to say thank you. We appreciate your efforts in diverting a disaster in your home, and your quick thinking and calm demeanor in the face of an emergency is something many adults would not do. So we all give you a lot of credit for your quick actions, and I'm sure your whole family is very proud of you, and we join in that pride. Do you think you'll want to be a Western Springs firefighter one day? All right, good answer.
Don't commit yet.
Thank you. Okay, moving on.
It just said, has there been an accident? That's very funny. My phone said, has there been an accident?
You got the right guy.
Not another one, hopefully.
We're gonna take the elevator. Yeah.
Got the right guy
Luckily,
to
you
help
have Sam with you.
That's true.
Thank you for coming tonight. Okay, we also have a presentation from Mr. Delio Calzolari. He is the Director of Legislative and Governmental Affairs at the Cook County Forest Preserve, and he's here to talk about the project at Bemis Woods. Delio, welcome.
Should I address the board, or do you want me to?
Yes, if you can,
Okay.
because then with the cameras.
Ah, gotcha, all right. Not my camera, okay.
So the mic is there. Tonight we have a new system. We're
Oh.
trying. The new mic is there, which should be able to pick up voices without having to turn anything on or off. And then also in the back too.
This may take some getting used to.
Well, I'll give it a whirl, all right?
Thank you.
Thank you, President Gallagher. Thank you, Board of Trustees and Village Manager Belkme. Thank you for inviting me here tonight. I'm here to talk about just the Forest Preserve in general. Kind of, I'll start off with did you know about the Forest Preserves? Did you know that your Cook County Forest Preserve is the largest and oldest forest preserves in the U.S.? We have approximately 70,000 acres, and we celebrated our 100th anniversary in 2013. When we celebrated our 100th year anniversary, there was a lot of time and energy invested into looking at what the next 100 years might look like. And they came up with what's called the Next Century Conservation Plan. And two major components of the Next Century Conservation Plan are conservation, which is kind of an obvious one, but also people. Having folks plug into the forest preserve in ways that maybe traditionally they haven't. There's been a large expansion into trails and community engagement in that people sector, but there's also an economy sector which relates to people. With the trails, we have over 300 miles of trails. About half of those are paved, and we're liking to work with communities like yours in developing feeder trails. Now, we have a strategic plan for our trails throughout the county, and we are working with municipalities, several municipalities, to do feeder trails from the community where the communities feel there's a need to plug into the forest preserve, but also otherwise serve the community, which is why I'm here today. We've been involved in a conversation of a trail along Wolf Road, and I know I've talked with President Gallagher and Hubert as well, and everybody that was in the back earlier. And there's been a great deal of, I think, thorough diligence done on these. We've looked into at least 10 different routings, and there was examination of all of these, and we have to balance our conservation mission with accessibility mission, and of course there's engineering constraints with various trails. So in this deliberation over the last, I've been involved in it for the last year. I know we narrowed down to two different paths. We'll refer to, and I don't know if you have any background on what we called at one time the green path or the white path. The white path has come to be what we are in consensus with President Gallagher and Ingrid is the best serving path for the community and the forest preserves needs. There was another alternative path, the green path, that was discussed, but there were some unresolved issues that we weren't certain were going to be resolvable because they had to do with some issues with some foliage that crossed the path. So I'm just here to reassert our commitment to developing the white path, which we also, at one point, was going to be closer to the road, but we, at the village's urging, have moved it further away from the road, over 15 feet away. And we're in the last few stages of developing engineering, and I'm not a planner or an engineer, But we're fairly certain that we'll be prepared to move forward with this in the near future.
Thank you. Does any trustee have any questions of Delia?
Yes, I do. When you say the near future, could you be a little more precise, or?
That's my disclaimer. I am not a planner or an engineer. I am a lawyer, though. That's why I did the disclaimer.
I think in general, we're planning on getting it constructed early next year so that by the springtime, we'll have a path. Matt, do you want to add in on that?
Yeah, I think that's our goal. We're trying to move as quickly as we can. There's some just processes we have to work through with the Forest Preserve. We'll ultimately have to develop an IGA with them, I think, this fall. We have some of that draft language kind of already put together. The village will be going back to the Federal Highway Administration this fall to kind of review the layout. And now that we have a lot of these issues that Delia was kind of laid out, we've got those resolved. We'll represent that information to the Federal Highway Administration. I think once we get through that process, we'll move pretty quickly through the design phase. And I think there's certainly an opportunity that we can go out to bid and get construction started in the early spring, as long as all these other kind of pieces fall into place properly.
I will say I think that is a realistic timeline. Of course, this has to be approved by your board and our board, and I wouldn't presume to speak for our board. Okay. Or your board.
What about the maintenance of the path going forward?
Those feeder paths, we ask the municipalities to take responsibility for maintenance.
When you say a feeder path, is it on the municipality's property or on Cook County Forest Preserve property, or some sort of hybrid?
Either, or it can actually be on a third party's property as well. We have several of these that will be on right-of-ways that might belong to the Department of Transportation or the county or townships. But if we're being asked by a municipality to work on a path, a feeder path, we do ask them to take up the maintenance. It's a resource issue.
So you're saying who initiates it, determines whether it's considered a feeder path or one of your own paths?
We have a trail master plan, and that's the plan that we are building. But if municipalities or other governmental entities do ask us to do anything in addition to that, we do ask that they perform the maintenance on the trail.
In perpetuity?
Yes.
I had a couple questions because we have a number of the citizenry who wanted the green path.
Mm-hmm.
They're not here today. Could you first state the ownership? It's my understanding this is an easement that you'd be granting us?
A license.
A license. And could you also state, if you know, what the obstacles were to the green path so the citizens would have some understanding?
When it went deeper into the forest preserves, there were more issues with trees and some other foliage and then there was a active discussion about how the path could be somewhat like the green path, but woven around some of the foliage and trees. But there was definitely a portion of it at one of the ends, I'm not sure which, that the issues were not resolved. And there was a disagreement about which path would get more usage. And it was in discussions with the village, the forest preserves and the village leadership agreed that Wolf Road, the white path, would get more usage.
Okay.
It's my understanding also that the green path went into the parking lot,
Yeah.
and that
There would be
the
some
engineer
traffic
said that
issues there
There
as
would be
well.
traffic issues with that.
That is correct.
Anyone else? Well, thank you, Delio. I'm going to open it up now to public comments in case anyone has any questions about that. John? Yeah.
John Bowden, 3949 Howard. I'm delighted to hear that it's being moved from 3 feet
Right.
to what, 10 feet, 15 feet. I have 2 concerns. One is people are still going to try to cross at Woodland. And will there be any signage, any efforts at all to dissuade people from doing that? My second concern is the fact that, we had several young boys hit by, or one of whom was killed by an automobile years ago. And they weren't trying to take the bike path. They were trying to get to Westchester. We are now building a path, a paved roadway for bicyclists to go 1/3, if not 40% of the way to Westchester. What deterrent will there be, if any, to keep kids who do what they want, whether parents agree with it or not, from taking this path and not using it as a way to go through the forest preserves, but as a way to get to McDonald's or the Burger King or the other businesses in Westchester? That's one of my biggest concerns. It was all about safety. You addressed one, which is moving it away from the roadway, but you are basically putting in a sidewalk 40% of the way to Westchester. And that's a concern of mine. Now, I know the Forest Preserve District may not feel that that's a big issue, but if we have, and I'm also concerned about the crosswalk. I mean, it is an abominable situation. I've watched pedestrians with their bicycles trying to get across Wolf Road at the bridge, and it's frankly less safe than the situation we have in Woodland. There are no blinking lights. Cars come over there's an elevation change, so cars come over the elevation, and suddenly their cars stop trying to avoid hitting bicyclists. We were coming home from Oak Brook one day, and there had just been a major accident. A car had stopped, fortunately, not to hit a bicyclist, but it resulted in serious injuries. Westchester, I think, Fire Department was called, and as was ours. I still have an uneasy feeling about this whole situation. I think you've made wonderful progress in moving it away from the roadway. And in that sense, I think it's much safer. But I still have a feeling that unless the Forest Preserve District or someone, the state, puts in some decent crosswalk protection, we're going to have major problems up there.
Are you talking, John, just to clarify, you're talking about crossing Wolf Road with the bike path that's existing right now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be either the Forest Preserve or Cook County Department of Highways, I believe, because that's the existing bike path that is within their jurisdiction.
Right.
And what we're doing is trying to eliminate what we see as a dangerous situation, which is the flashing lights right now crossing at Woodland. And we have undertaken this project in order to shut that down and move the crosswalk to Ogden and Wolf, which
I'm well aware of that.
So we are connecting
I've used
to
that
the
crosswalk. I know.
We're connecting to the bike path, and
what I'm saying is I don't think we're necessarily improving the situation. Yes, we are moving people away from Woodland, but are they still? I mean, I still think you have a very unsafe situation crossing Wolf Road, and I just wish the Forest Preserve District, since this is a path of theirs, could take some ownership with the county. I don't think it's Western Springs' problem. It is an existing connection between the Forest Preserve District Trail to another Forest Preserve District Trail. But I see no effort on the part of the Forest Preserve District to take ownership to what I think is a very serious safety hazard. And I know people have gotten, we know one has gotten killed on that roadway. And we know that there are countless accidents and near accidents at that crossing all the time. I mean, anybody that drives through there knows how dangerous it is. So I think, I'm not opposed to the path as you've proposed it per se, but I don't think it solves the real safety issue. It solves part of it.
And that's the bike path crossing Wolf Road further along.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know, Delio, if you have any knowledge.
I'm not prepared to speak to that.
Okay.
I'm not saying that.
But I wish somebody could do a study on how many near accidents. I mean, I'm sure our fire department must know, Westchester Fire Department must know. The police departments must have records on how many accidents or near accidents there have been I just drive by, every time I drive by there and see a bicyclist, I feel sorry for them trying to get across that roadway.
Right.
People do not go through at 35 miles an hour. I can guarantee you that. And so,
Well, we'd be happy to support you in your efforts to advocate with the Forest Preserve regarding maybe brighter striping or what have you.
At the very least, I do think that the Forest Preserve District might consider better signage there. I actually today almost saw a woman, she was trying to cross, and one car in one direction stopped to let her cross, but the other car in the other direction did not stop. And,
exactly.
But I just want to, and I, realize that it's really not a Western Springs, quote unquote, problem. We can't solve that problem. But I wanted to ask you about the idea of the path and children on the path, that you feel that it should extend further north, or to me it would seem that they would be safer walking on the path than walking on the roadway.
No, my concern is what happens
when the path ends.
No, yeah, exactly. Kids want to go to McDonald's.
Right.
They want to go to Burger King. They want to go to the shopping center. And we are basically making it easier for them
to get halfway there.
To get halfway there.
Safer.
And now, when they get halfway there, are they going to say, "Oh, there's no more paths, so I won't go to McDonald's"? No, they're going to go up the side of the roadway.
Okay.
And that's where you run the risk of injury. So we're actually increasing the chances, I think, of children wanting to do that. And I would hope parents keep their kids from wanting to do that, but we know we can't control everything our kids do. So that's my only concern. I don't know what the answer is. Signage would be nice.
Yeah, in our discussions.
You can't build a barrier.
Right.
But I don't know what the answer is. But keep that in mind as you approve this plan. That is going to be a natural fallout from building this nice roadway to the north.
Well, if you look at it a different way, we are now at least providing a safer passage for those kids halfway up, instead of them walking all along the roadway. But you're right. We will definitely keep it in mind. These are issues that we have not discussed with the Cook County Department of Highway or the Forest Preserve.
One child from Western Springs that was fatally injured was not interested in riding on a bike path. He was interested, along with his two friends, in going from Western Springs to Westchester. And this makes it easier for kids to do that. It encourages them, I think. And that's my real concern. It's all about safety. I mean, I knew one of those families. And
it's tragic.
I'd hate to think that 5 years from now, after all this is built, we have another fatality. That's what I want to try to avoid. And I appreciate the board. You've made a lot of progress, I think, on this. You've looked at a lot of alternatives. I think the Forest Preserve District has too. And that's my big concern.
Well, thank you, Jen.
So,
we appreciate your concern. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Anyone else? Sure, Delia.
We're happy. A lot of times these issues with crossings, particularly because a lot of times units of government come to us for licenses to build roads through our Forest Preserve property, because we're in the tree business, not the road business. So a lot of times when people see a road, they assume that it's our road. Well, it's adjacent to our property or cuts through Forest Preserve property. Chances are a lot of the maintenance and construction responsibility lies on whoever holds that license. But we're happy to look at this one, and obviously if it's an unsafe situation, we're more than happy to work together to try and figure out a safer alternative. But I have a feeling that we wouldn't be the only two governmental entities in the room.
No, I don't. I think at least Cook County Highways, because it crosses over there, and it's an existing crosswalk. Okay. But maybe just take a look.
That'd make it easier probably to figure out. But we're happy to look at it, and we look at these throughout the county. And a lot of sometimes we are constrained by the desires of folks who hold the license. But obviously, if it's a safety issue, we definitely want to address it.
Okay. Maybe a caution sign north of the bike path. I don't know what it would say, or if a kid would even look at it, but I know what he's talking about.
I hear it, and we've worked with other, I don't want to mention other governmental entities, but some that work in transportation throughout the state, and sometimes those requests are a lot, they're cumbersome, and sometimes they're denied. And so they're granted sometimes, but not always.
mean, I don't know if there's anything legally you can even do. You can't keep somebody, if a kid wants to walk on that road, I think you can't keep them off of it. But maybe one sign might stop one kid a month from going that way and maybe cutting through the woods and going over. But you can get there through the woods.
Yeah, we're happy to explore.
You just have to cross 31st Street.
Yep.
All right, thank you very much. Thanks, Debbie. Okay, new business. We have one item tonight that, due to a timing issue, is rather urgent, and this has not been discussed yet by the board. So Trustee Timmick, would you please introduce resolution number 18-2444?
It's my pleasure, President Gallagher. Yes, so on July 12th, American Legion Post 1941 submitted an application for a raffle license. The raffle will be conducted August 1st through September 29th. We did not have a general government meeting prior to this meeting tonight, so the idea was we would introduce this here now as new business. Assuming that there was no concerns from the board, we would then add it to the omnibus and vote on it tonight so that they would be able to kick off the raffle on time. Pretty straightforward. They're selling tickets at Casey's. There's a number of prizes totaling up to $2,000 and pretty similar to other things we've approved in the past. So really no issue, I don't think, from general government if we had met on this.
Right, yeah, it's pretty much a housekeeping matter that we do on a regular basis. Does any trustee have any questions or concerns? Okay, so we'll add that to the omnibus then. Thank you.
Thank you.
And then moving on to the omnibus, the Illinois state statutes allow a municipality to collectively vote on a group of ordinances, resolutions, and other motions, such as awards of contract, appointments, etc. This is known as an omnibus vote. All the items contained on the omnibus vote list have been previously discussed by the President and Board of Trustees on at least one occasion, and often on several occasions. By placing them on the omnibus vote list, a single vote may be taken to approve them. A trustee may remove any item from the list and have it discussed and voted on separately prior to the omnibus vote. Is there any such request? Hearing none, back to you, Trustee Timmick.
Thank you, President Gallagher. I move that the following ordinances as contained on the meeting agenda for July 23rd, 2018 be adopted and or approved under an omnibus vote. Agenda item number 2, approval of minutes of the meetings of June 25th and July 9th, 2018 as read. Agenda item number 3, ordinance 18-2927, amending sections 9-6-2, amendments to code, chapter 6, fire code, Title 9, Building Regulations of the Western Springs Municipal Code of 1997 as amended to update the regulations of the International Fire Code 2006 edition relative to adding subsection 109.2.2.1 violations reinspection fees. Agenda item number 4, ordinance 18-2928, amending the Western Springs Municipal Code of 1997 as amended, Title 8, Public Ways and Property, Chapter 10, Water and Sewer Charges Regulations, Section 8-10-2, Initiating Service, subsection 8-10-3E, tap-on fees for new construction, tear-downs, or major renovations additions for certain 45th Street properties, and subsection 8-10-3F, tap-on fees for new construction, tear-downs, or major renovations additions for certain Garden Avenue properties, and Title 9, Building Regulations, Chapter 1, Fee Schedules, Article A, Permit and Review Fees, Section 9-1A-5, Water Main Tap-on Fee, subsection 9-1A-5A, Water Main Tap-on Fee generally, subsection 9-1A-5B, Water Main Tap-on Fee for certain 45th Street properties, and subsection 9-1A-5C, Reimbursement Fee for certain Garden Avenue properties. Agenda item number 5, ordinance 18-2929, amending Title 8, Public Ways and Property of the Western Springs Village Code. Amend Section 8-11-5, locations of facilities of Chapter 11, standards for construction of utility facilities on right-of-way, and to adopt a new Chapter 13, small wireless facilities relative to the permitting, regulation, and deployment of small wireless facilities. Agenda item number 6, resolution 18-2444, authorizing and approving the issuance of a raffle license under Title III, Business Regulations, Chapter 12, Charitable Games, Raffles, Bingo, and Other Games of Chance Regulation, Section 3-12-3, Raffles, of the Western Springs Municipal Code of 1997, as amended, for applicant American Legion Post 1941, raffle for veterans on September 29th, 2018, with a license fee waiver and bond waiver. Agenda item number 7, Resolution 18-2445, authorizing and approving the execution of a professional services agreement between the Village of Western Springs and James J. Bennis and Associates, Inc. for Phase 3 Construction Engineering Observation Services 2018 Roadway Improvement Project. And agenda item number 8, motion to approve the reappointments of Marcia Buell as Chair and Janet Dahl and James Maragos as members of the Board of Fire and Police Commissioners for a 3-year term to expire in September 2021.
Thank you. Is there a second to the motion?
I will second.
Any discussion? Clerk Fitzgerald, may we have a roll call vote, please?
Certainly, President Gallagher. Trustee Hansen?
Aye.
Trustee Timmick?
Aye.
Trustee Allen?
Aye.
Trustee Rudolph?
Aye.
Trustee Sifferman?
Aye.
Trustee Tyrrell?
Aye.
And President Gallagher.
Aye. Thank you. Okay, any other business this evening? If not, we'll move on to the reports. Our monthly financial report, Trustee Rudolph.
Thank you, President Gallagher. You all received the June month-end financial report in your packets. Everything is pretty much as expected. A couple of highlights. Both the sales tax received and the income tax distribution are running higher than the same period last year. Also, building permits are also up about 4% over last year. And then also our water consumption is about right where we expected it to be, about on par for last year. And those are the highlights. If any questions?
I had a question on the GL account check register for either you or Director Terry. There's an account for Dartmoor Homes and there's an account for Foxford Development, and there's some legal bills and engineering bills that go through there. Are those holding accounts for when they get cleared? And I'm familiar with the Dartmoor one with the Boley. Is that similar going to be for Foxford?
No, those are not local improvements. Foxford just provides us with a lump sum based on their development, and we just draw down on that lump sum when the work is completed.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, if no other questions, this time I will actually make a motion to approve the June financials.
And I'll second.
Thank you. May we have a roll call vote, please?
Certainly,
Fitzgerald.
President Gallagher. Trustee Hansen?
Aye.
Trustee Timmick?
Aye.
Trustee Allen?
Aye.
Trustee Rudolph?
Aye.
Trustee Sifferman?
Aye.
Trustee Tyrrell?
Aye.
All in favor.
Thank you. Moving on to my report, I'd like to remind all trustees that there will be a joint Finance and Public Works and Water Committees meeting on July 25th at 6:30. Even though this is a joint meeting between the Finance Committee and the Public Works and Water Committee, I encourage all trustees to attend if you are available. Also, Director Supert and Superintendent Aaron Duffy will be hosting a Water Department Q&A on July 31st, also at 6:30 p.m. Please attend if you're available. There will be a refuse and recycling survey on the village website from August 1 to August 31st. We encourage all residents to complete the survey. Many residents may know that the blue bags that we currently have are not themselves recyclable. So while the contents may be, we are actually contributing to land waste when we implement the blue bag service. So please complete that survey. Let us know what your preferences are as we go forward here. On August 7th is the Police National Night Out. This year, we are doing it in conjunction with the LaGrange Police Department. It will be at Spring Rock Park from 5:30 to 8:30. There's lots of fun events for everyone in the family, so hoping, fingers crossed for good weather, and I hope we get a good turnout. And finally, please join Chief Buds and myself for a chat with the Chief at the Thomas Ford Memorial Library on August 22nd from 9:30 to 12:30. This will just be an informal opportunity to come in and discuss any public safety concerns or issues you may have. I also have just a few updates on projects happening around the village. The East Train platform looks beautiful. Thank you, staff. It really, with the landscaping in, it really is coming together. Major construction work on the East Train platform is now complete, and electricity is being energized, as well as the water systems. So hopefully by the end of this week, early next week, we'll have the fountain running and the lights working as well. In conjunction with that, we can anticipate the large contractor equipment moving out from our downtown area and actually being able to use those spots again once striping and signage is complete. I want to thank the businesses for their ongoing patience as we completed this project, and I look forward to this new beautiful intersection that welcomes people into our village to be there for years to come. So thank you. Also, with regard to construction, the road construction projects are now moving forward. Public Works will be replacing 3 hydrants on the 4500 and 4600 blocks of Johnson Avenue on Wednesday, July 25th and Wednesday, August 1st. Residents on these 2 blocks will experience a service disruption, meaning no water, from approximately 9 a.m. until 4 p.m., weather permitting, for fire hydrant replacement. Door hangers have been placed on all affected residents' doors, and crews will go door to door prior to the commencement of work. Also, we will have underground work for the project that will begin this week on Lawn Avenue and will include sewer repair work and drainage improvements. Temporary lane closures may be needed on portions of Lawn Avenue while work is completed, but no extended closures are anticipated at this time. The underground work is expected to proceed through mid-August. All residents are reminded that they can visit wsprings.com/roads to receive email updates on this project. Also, I'd like to let you know that the WCMC, that's a regional organization to which we belong, has been granted a grant from IDOT to conduct a planning and research project for the whole Central Council region, which includes Western Springs, among other communities. There is a new funding formula that is being put into place on a regional level for large projects that are shared STP funds. The first bid is expected to award up to $40 million, but that's for the entire Chicago region. Our Central Council is one of approximately 8 in the area that will be vying for these funds. So the grant is to go around to each of the 15 communities within the Central Council to identify regionally significant projects or projects that are significant in cost, over $5 million. So these would be multi-jurisdictional or very expensive projects. The consultant will identify these projects within each village and then advise each village simple steps that they can take in order to improve their standing when they go to apply for the shared fund STP money. This grant is for $100,000. It's an 80-20 split, and so each village, so far we have gone around to 12 of the 15 villages, and everyone has bought into this concept. And so if all 15 villages do buy in, it's out of pocket $1,333 per village. Because the WCMC does not have the right corporate status, Western Springs has stepped up and taken the lead on this grant, and our attorney is working on an IGA to go around to connect with each of the communities as we enter this agreement, and we will bid via RFQ for consultants in the very near future. Anybody have any questions?
So I got that, thank you. Maybe I'm just being slow, but
no.
So there's a grant for $100,000 is just for the identification of other projects?
Of regionally significant or large in scale projects.
Regionally significant, and it sounds like you've talked to a lot of villages and everyone kind of likes that idea, so that makes sense. Does Western Springs have any of those regionally significant ideas, like kind of in the hopper that we're thinking about, or did we not want to talk about those yet, or is it, because it sounds like it's joint with, say, a bordering community?
It would have to be either three bordering communities or, say, for instance, Metro or some other entity. But a village or town would have to be the lead on it. It couldn't be these other transportation entities to apply for these funds. But you're right, it multi-jurisdictional, it would be multi-community. And there may be some projects that we may be able to identify with the help of the consultant.
We would have to sit down with the other communities, and that's why we need the consultant to come in and take a look. And see. These are major projects that would impact the regions. We have not looked at that yet.
And it's a minimum of over 5 million is what is sort of the concept of what's a major project?
Right.
So,
well, it's not and, it's either or. So the project can be either multi-jurisdictional or it would have to meet that 5 million threshold.
Multi-jurisdictional could be under 5 million.
Yes.
So if I'm getting this right, the spending, what you estimated at $1,300 keeps us in the running or keeps that moving forward and gives us an opportunity to see if there's something that we would want to do down the road that would qualify. Okay,
right, that would qualify.
I have a question regarding our village stepping up to assume a role that the WCMC can't. Would there be any kind of administrative fee for that, or is that just gratis? That would be.
Well, I'm the chairman of the Transportation Committee, which was overseeing this, and the liaison with WCMC and I didn't realize that the WCMC could not submit it. So Mike Fricano is the WCMC liaison, and he did a substantial amount of work. Having said that, Casey and Matt also have done quite a bit of work. We have not discussed reimbursement on that yet.
Typically, there may be some structured models that exist that will allow for, just a small percentage of that. Or
that's a good point. Yeah. I can tell you that while Mike is working on the IGA, any funds towards that will come from the grant. He will not be charging the village for that work.
Great.
Anybody else? Okay. That concludes my report, I believe. Village Manager Velkme.
No report tonight.
Thank you. Village Attorney Jarusic.
Yeah, just real briefly, at the dais is a license and indemnification agreement for a temporary use permit for a wedding to be held and photographs to be held at the Tower Green. The event date is August 4th. It's coming to you in this format because things sort of came together last minute, so we did not get it on the agenda, but this type of agreement is what we use for these type of permits. I'm recommending that you do a consensus motion tonight to authorize the village president to sign it. We'll bring it back for ratification in August. The event is earlier than the next meeting, so what we'd like to do is approve it tonight under a consensus. Alice would sign the document. The event will go forward. We'll bring it back in August for final approval. What the document does is it authorizes the use of the Tower Green for a wedding ceremony and photographs. As you can see on page 1, it has very specific restrictions on the use of the Tower Green that staff worked on. The document also has our standard indemnification insurance provisions. IRMA actually, your self-insured risk management agency is providing the insurance for the event at the cost of the folks that are getting married, the applicant. They're paying that fee.
There is a special events insurance that is available.
So that level of insurance would go on, in front of, be primary to the village's insurance in case somebody, were to get injured out there during this event. Trip, fall. So that's my recommendation. We typically run it through committee. We typically have it on the agenda. Due to the timing, that didn't happen, so we'd like to handle it this way with your permission.
Okay, any questions of Mike on this
I just had one. What if a guest has to go to the bathroom?
That's not covered in the agreement.
They need to go beforehand.
There's businesses across the street, I suppose.
Okay.
Yeah, there's no porta potty, Johnny, like there is for other special events. This is just a very short, duration, use, so hopefully adults and kids go before they arrive. Yes.
Have we done this before, this sort of thing?
Well,
not as formal in its.
We have had about 4 weddings or so on the Village Green, at least over the years. And usually they do take these special events insurance.
And they serve liquor at it?
No, it's simply the
Photos and.
The wedding, not the reception.
wedding ceremony,
Okay.
yes.
It's just a ceremony and photographs. There's
It's
no
just small
food, it's no food, no
Okay.
drink,
No food,
or anything.
nothing like
Just
that.
taking pictures and.
Exactly.
Okay.
Any other questions? Okay, so Clerk Fitzgerald, may we poll each trustee? Oh, we need a motion.
Yeah, let's just do
Okay.
a consensus motion.
I'll make a motion to conduct a consensus vote.
Just to authorize the
To
village
authorize-
president to execute the document and to have it brought back for final ratification at the next meeting.
As our village attorney just stated.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay. May we have a roll call consensus vote?
Certainly, President Gallagher. Trustee Hansen?
Aye.
Trustee Timick?
Aye.
Trustee Allen?
Aye.
Trustee Rudolph?
Aye.
Trustee Sifferman?
Aye.
Trustee Tyrrell?
Aye.
All in favor.
Thank you.
Thank you. No further report.
Thank you. Then may I have a motion to recess to closed session to discuss pending litigation?
Thank you, President Gallagher. I'll make a motion to recess to closed session to discuss pending, probable, or imminent litigation.
I will second.
Okay, so may we have a roll call vote to adjourn to closed session?
Trustee Hansen?
Aye.
Trustee Timick?
Aye.
Trustee Allen?
Aye.
Trustee Rudolph?
Aye.
Trustee Sifferman?
Aye.
Trustee Tyrrell?
Aye.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we are in closed session. We will reopen up back to the public meeting after we conduct our business there, but that is only for the purpose of adjourning that meeting. So thank you and good night.